ways, a lot of ways.
Keep talking.
Filtering people.
So I started recording. So
Number one.
we'll say hi to people. I don't know if they can see me. But go ahead.
How do you say good evening again?
Dobry wieczór.
Dobry wieczór.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Sí, buenas noches.
Bonsoir tout le monde.
We could talk in all languages,
Yes.
so people understand. Tiene que entender. Como cubano. So go ahead, my dear. What were you saying? People have to learn to be good. Like that guy said, Socrates, learn to be good, act well. So I want to ask you, Doris, what do you think about this interesting interaction that we've all been enjoying listening to tonight?
Yes.
So we met on a dating site.
We did.
We did. Very honest, very almost completely transparent.
Almost.
Couple of details I forgot to mention.
Almost.
I'm curious, if I told you that I live with another lady, how would you react? Because I'm sorry, because I know I felt such beautiful connection with Doris. I said, I don't want to say that, and sometimes I've had a lady or several ladies that judged it so hard, and they just blocked me.
Yeah.
They thought I'm a creep or something. I don't know.
And he violated his own rule because he normally tells it all like it is because he's extremely transparent. And
So I don't
he
know
just had to
anymore.
dial
Maybe
it
I'm
down
not.
a little bit so that
But I
the
thought-
number
Why-
of people running could decrease.
Why do you think that he wasn't as transparent with me as
With
he
you,
was
because
in
I
the
didn't
past?
want to frighten you.
He takes
Because
you
I-
seriously. That's why. It's just a.
I'm sorry. But having said that, what do you think you would react if you?
I think I would have still been open to it, but I
what
think
I
it's
told
just
him.
me. I think that I would have listened to you, listened to your story, the situation, and
Yeah.
then would have made a decision on my own.
And I told
But I
him
don't
a
think-
serious woman
yeah.
will still take it into account and be open to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually even, I mean, this was fine. I don't know if you saw my face when he totally read, I'm here in the valet, I park my car, and then I find out that there's guests,
Yeah.
there's a
I
dinner,
don't think guess was the most interesting of all the details I mentioned.
and then there was you, Ray. And I remember him telling me, and I was just like, okay, like, I'm okay with it. Because I think I didn't jump directly into the sexual conclusion just because I've had friendships that are so much more than that. Like my best friend Brian, like we've slept in the same bed and it's like nothing's ever even transpired or even felt that.
People have to understand. Just because people hug, kiss, sleep, sometimes there could be such a connection, or not sleep. We can be connected. Like we've spoken, you and I, about so many beautiful things about our grandparents. That's a connection that many people who have sex don't experience,
Right.
That's
or
true.
do. It's all different connections.
Yeah.
People think, oh, because there's sex, there's not necessarily.
No.
But yes, I don't think that I would have been, I don't think I would have X'd it off from the start.
Okay.
If you would have.
I just felt that Lourdes, that I'm processing. I don't know what I said to you, but you said I'm processing certain things. So I felt like if I were to mention, you may take it the wrong way. Because if you see me, it's different. When you see my eyes, it's...
Well, you made a point on that because we were talking on the phone. So it was our first interaction. We're talking on the phone, and you made a point that you wanted a FaceTime, and you were so adamant about it. And I was kind of blowing it off at the beginning because I mean, you kind of think like, okay, when you meet someone and you're like, let's FaceTime, like you at least have a few minutes, like, I don't know, to maybe like touch
I
up your
get
makeup,
that.
change your top,
I get
like do
everyone
the things.
says that.
But you know what, I think that that's your first like reaction to it. You're like, I
Yeah.
want to be prepared. Like, what do you mean you're catching me off
That's
guard?
the world that we're living in.
But the fact that it was like you were so adamant about it, and you were kind of like not pushing on it. I wouldn't say you were.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? And then there was a point in the conversation that I was just like,
fuck it.
Seriously. Like,
I was like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Number one. Number two, if this guy can't see me in my own raw element in my house
Exactly.
on a random call because I had no
Exactly.
idea he was gonna call. And I even said, I was even like, fine, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna walk the walk, right? And
yes.
talk the talk.
Yes.
And then I was just like, okay, here you go, like boom.
Yeah.
you see,
And that's
and
what
from a
happened.
man's point of view, I tell you how we, and not all men are the same, but a man, and I know you all had this experience. That's why it's good to share, because it's rare that men and women share their experiences.
Yeah.
To make all this easier, how many times I escalated to FaceTime? Almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I necessarily have to see the face. I've kind of imagined, I've seen a picture. It's the
It's
actual
not the same.
reaction of her to my request. At least 2/3 of maybe 3/4 of ladies will be very unwilling. They feel one, they're not prepared, or they're a little self-conscious, or they feel like I'm ordering them around. What is this? I'm not doing what some people say that.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think it's the latter. I think it's like the catching off guard.
But then I told you.
It's so raw. Like I pick up the phone and you're not expecting my call. I mean, I didn't even know he existed until this morning.
But I exist.
You did, but I didn't know that. And you came into my world this morning, and yeah, that's like your first. But I think that's the whole complexity of this thing. Because if you're dating, you need to put yourself out
Always.
there.
So I tell
And if you
people,
can't put yourself out there in that raw form, like,
Right.
why are
What's
we
the point?
wasting
What are
our
we doing?
time?
Exactly.
And that's time
And
that
that's-
I don't have right now. I mean, I
Exactly.
just turned 40 this year.
Can you imagine?
You
She
don't
looks like
look
she's
it. You
19.
don't look 30.
I just
They
turned
both
40
look
in
19.
August.
You look
Yeah.
beautiful.
Crazy.
Thank you.
Crazy.
But I don't feel like I'm 40.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I don't feel like I look like a 40-year-old, but I don't know what a 40-year-old to look like.
Huh?
I've seen some that I did shit.
Crazy.
So
Shitty, I don't wanna. Shitty, I
don't
don't want.
No, we don't need that. Mm-mm.
I'm telling you, these two beautiful ladies, and I say to my men friends, lady friends, just like what you said, FaceTime, meet, and be open, because I think I mentioned it to you. Imagine me and you wake up 30 years from now. Remember I told you? Remember I said that on the phone? And we're gonna be grandparents.
No, you didn't say that.
I didn't say, oh, I didn't
No,
use
you
that.
wrote that on your profile. I didn't even tell me. I read it on your profile.
Imagine though, and I tell that to many women, I said, you're shy now,
That was the nurse.
Stop it. I said to women, you're shy
I
now,
wanna
at 40,
fuck with him till
30,
after
40.
this nurse.
That
He's
woman.
like, are you the
Imagine
nurse? I'm
us
like, no.
30 years from now, waking up next to each other, loving each other. Doesn't matter how you look, because you think my grandpa was looking at my grandma at 80? He loved her. He
At
loved
80.
at any age, and at 80 as well. He told me he loved her the most of any woman. Always. He's had many, whatever. We're not gonna elaborate on that. You know, my grandpa, we all know people who know. So he loved my grandma. He tells me now, the best. He says, you don't get a woman like that these days. You know what I'm talking about. It's one of a kind. I'm just saying, appearance is so much, it's made to be so much more than it actually is.
And the funny part is, as kind of like taken back, like kind of like, oh my god, crap. And then it was kind of like, well, why not? Number one. And I think he was just you were being so open. He was being so open and just like transparent that I was almost like, he deserves that back
Right.
from me.
Right.
So why why can't I should be able to deliver, you know?
See?
So it
It's
kind
a
of
nice
felt
lady.
it kind of felt like he's
You
being
like
so
you
gotta
open
match it
and like
because-
why
yeah.
not match it because he's making that effort and I should
Right,
meet him at that
exactly.
effort, right?
And we were talking about that too. We were talking about should a woman, or not should a woman, but is it, what's more effective for a woman to invest in a man?
That's crazy shit right there.
Or-
You're talking about that's very complex. People don't. That's something that's gonna open. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Or
A woman invests in a man, she invests interest. And she invests time too. Yeah. Effort, time, all that. Or a man investing more interest, time, effort, the whole nine into the woman. In my experience, I find it that when the man invests significantly more than I invest, it doesn't work. Like I get
When you say
suffocated.
invest, it's interesting. It's complicated what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you know what she means by investing?
you put forth more of the effort, you're
Let me tell you-
more transparent about things. Maybe you take more of the initiative.
It's not so vague as you make it. I'll give you an
No.
example. You're right, but the most, for example,
Or you're not
a lot of literature talks about this. This beautiful, interesting subject that women and men don't get. We get it all opposite from what it actually is. So let's say a man invites you out. Normally, that's what men would do. So let's have a date. Usually a restaurant, right? Okay. So you go to a restaurant. Who pays? Usually. A man, right? It's not even raised as an issue. He will pay. Now, what if a man tells you to pay? Because that's what I do. So you pay for me. Now that flips women out. What the hell are you talking about? Because it's unusual. And it's not something that this society is cultivated to be doing. But in an interesting, if you think of it, and it's an extreme example. If a woman starts investing into a man, she becomes interested because she's investing, like a bank. Think of it as a bank. You're investing money in a bank, you become interested in that bank. If you don't invest, it's just like any other bank, that's whatever.
Now, what I need to know is,
Tell
do
me.
you tell these women before you ask them out? Because you're the one who asked them out. Do you tell them that they're paying when you ask them
So
out?
let me tell you what I do.
Because that's a fair question, right? Because if you asked me out and we have dinner,
Of course,
and
of
at the end
course.
of the night the bill
No,
comes and,
no,
and
see,
you're like,
That's mean. No.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna be like, you invited me.
exactly.
Exactly. So
Whoever invited you.
So I tell you, and this is a discussion that is, it's a weapon, not a weapon. It's a strategy that if women understand and men, it will change the dynamic in a very favorable way. Why I tell you, and I tell you what I do. Men are by default invested already. We see a woman, we are invested. We want that woman. At least you know for what. That's given. So we are already invested. We are trying to make you
That
invest.
happen.
We would try. So we are invested at least in that, and that's how you get him. That's how you hook a man. Get him into get his interest.
Yeah, I got the hook.
Right. So okay. So he's already invested as a given. Now women are usually not. You have many suitors. How many they text you? So you choose. You are the selectors. Okay. So
100%.
of course you select. Mother Nature, natural selection. That's Gaia. Women select. My point is, if a man skillfully entices you to invest in him, he becomes more desirable. Because you feel, oh, that's the man that's worth investing into. It's a weird,
Oh my god!
I know it's a
It's
mind.
such a mind fuck.
It's
Yes.
a mind fuck because we're not used to it. But think about it. It
And
works.
Yes.
And then you get to learn. Women don't need to know this. Just so you know, it's for men to know. Because I'm telling you how when you read books. I'm sorry, but this is what all the books will tell you. The dating books, the smart ones will say, men, stop being pussies and follow, oh, I want to go there, buy me this. No, you tell a woman, pay for me. And then the woman's going to say, whoa. And you say, yeah, compete for me. I'm a hot commodity. I'm a hot mess. You invest in me. And right, and the woman's going to say, wait a minute. You know, that's an interesting guy. Because no one puts himself like that. Let me see what's that all about. So it completely changes a woman's attitude, because that's apparently a worthy investment. So once she invests.
Is that why you told me that you make women come to you on the first date?
See, I shouldn't be talking about this. Is like opening too many cards.
You didn't think that I was.
That's another problem. I mean, it's an issue, because if I start running around, what kind of a man am I? Think of it this way. I'm a king. You're a queen. What kind of a king would be driving around the city chasing queens? No, queen comes to the king. It sounds good. It sounds beautiful. And I have people
and
from
that's how it was.
Atlanta, oh, come visit me. I say, yeah, right away. I'm just gonna drop everything. No, I don't even cross the block.
You don't
I don't
go anywhere.
cross. It's a principle.
That's how my mom is. That's how she taught me.
What?
But she taught me to, if someone even invites you over to their place, respectfully decline and invite them to yours. Like, have everyone come to you.
So
Don't
that's a
go
powerful
to
woman.
anyone.
That's a powerful woman. But
That's how she is.
what I'm trying to say is that
I feel you on that, because I think that maybe I think that the cultures are very similar.
Yeah. It's an island thing.
Yeah.
it's also you have to be. See, that's what I told you. I said, listen, I'm inviting you to my house, and by the way, I didn't mean to not keep my word. I did offer you a drink, but it was getting late, and they're waiting with the dinner.
Like when he tells me like dinner's on the table and there's like, and I'm like, what do you mean we're not?
I promised a drink. I'm sorry.
I mean, I did have a drink eventually, but I'm just saying.
That was because they were waiting for us. So imagine.
It's like dinner's on the table. There was like.
The timing was
We
a
have
little
guests. We have this.
bit. Timing was a
It's
little.
funny. It's funny because I think you have to read a person, because you wouldn't have taken that chance, not thinking that I would be open to this, having me drive over 30 minutes.
And that's
to
another
get
thing.
here.
And that's another thing. So you have to appreciate that. Beautiful
And
lady.
getting off the car and being like, and by the way, the night you thought you were gonna have, it's completely different. But I'm gonna look at him laughing. You see what I had to deal with?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
So
that's why I told you,
I'm
don't even
must
try it.
I must
Don't
be
even
like
try what?
another
'Cause
level.
it backfires.
Say it slowly. What? Don't try what?
Don't try like
You are another level. Already.
holding back. Because it backfires.
I know.
You don't
I feel
understand.
like-
You don't know
I
what
feel
happens
like
when I
so.
don't hold back. People block me.
People run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they misunderstand.
Check
They
our
think I'm a
Instagram.
perv.
I followed you, no? Yeah? What kind of?
Anyway, these are small
Yeah.
little things, but if you are cognizant of these things, then
Oh
you
my
can tell.
God, yes. Thank you.
There's many more things. When you go on dates, you've been on. Let's say this way. What did you say to each other? Now that they're
He
hugging.
gives the best hugs.
Hold on. What did I miss now?
We're having a moment.
What the hell?
Oh my God, you're awesome.
What did you say? I'm curious. This guy will
18
say a
minutes.
word.
I
It's
think
okay. It's okay.
good.
It's
Oh,
okay.
keep it going.
No, I'm curious. What did you say? He says a word, and then this whole big revelation.
I don't
Tears
even
coming
know.
down. What did you say?
I don't even say word like that. Like
Oh, he
comes to
said
me-
I was on another level of awesomeness, yes.
Of what?
Because my whole point was, you must have seen something like in me that I would be open to this, and then it's like a different level of
Trust. Confidence.
For
Trust.
me, and like
I think it's not even alignment. I think it's openness to new experiences. And when you are so like trusting in the universe that it's always working on your behalf, and that it's
Absolutely.
always going to put those experiences and those people that you need in your path.
yeah.
I don't
McGregor,
know. I got
McGregor.
here and he said,
Yeah.
this is what this is. Guess what? We're not going to have a drink and but there's a whole dinner party and there's people waiting for you. There's a dinner sitting there. And I had two choices, right? I can either get in my car that
But you
hasn't left, it's right there.
But I didn't feel like that at all.
No. Get in my car or get it and like leave right there, or embrace this experience. And it's funny, maybe because it is Christmas and it is and there is this little magic in me that believes that, like I said, like the universe is always conspiring to make it the most beautiful experiences for me. So I had two choices, and that's what comes down in life. It's your choices.
So beautiful.
And whether I got in the car, or I said,
Universe is always
or
conspiring.
I said yes, and I said yes. So here I am, and it was.
You did try a little trick of going to another building first. Try to escape.
Because I didn't know there's like 3 buildings in this
I'm joking.
place.
I'm joking.
Funny, right? Yeah.
So he's like, I think you're in the wrong building. I'm like, what tower am I on? But the guy was really serious.
So what happens in your experience? Let's say you go on dates. You've been on many, I'm sure, in the last, let's say, out of curiosity, in the
last week, I've been on 3 dates. Does that help?
See?
Oh, wow.
It's a very
And that's not including this one.
Look at that. That beats me.
That beats me too.
You're slackers.
I'm jealous. I'm
You're
slacking.
Mira slabbilis.
Should be having dates every night.
Right,
Mhm.
you should. You're freaking gorgeous.
And not only that, invite
Only
them
yes, should,
double,
right?
triple,
Right?
invite 2, 3 men. I told her, in double
Look
date.
your smile. Look at how you smile.
Beautiful. Now, so how did those dates go?
I'm
Do you
try
have a
that.
mirror? You
I'm
have a
gonna try
mirror,
that.
portable mirror
I'm
here?
curious. That's just one
Yeah, you
week.
have a mirror?
This
Let's talk
one
about
we
it.
have.
So how
Give
many
me
days do you
portable.
go on? Let's say
Please.
usually several a
You
week,
wouldn't.
right?
Wait.
I think that this week was higher than the usual.
Christmas time.
But it's Christmas time, and I do feel that people have been reaching out more because it is Christmas, and I feel like people get a little more nostalgic and want like that company. For me, it really isn't on that level because I don't know. I mean,
I hear
I
you.
have my family, I
It's
have
beautiful.
my dog, I have me, which is spectacular.
Of course, the best.
So it's not. I feel like, in my sense, it's if I go out on a date with somebody, or it's to compliment me, it's to have a good time, to be open to a new experience, but it isn't a need to fulfill me or make me a better person. So I think that that's why I enjoy it. I'll have a good time. I can go with the flow.
Playful, it's light,
I
it's
can
beautiful.
I can come over and you can spring this shit on me, and I'd be like, yes, this is so fun. Like, and like I said, like the energy was good. I came in, it was vibing.
Yeah,
I
You
felt
saw
good.
This character.
This is my favorite. This is
Buddha,
great. You should
Buddha.
always have this character right
you
at the
kidding
front
me?
of the door,
Buddha,
reading
Buddha,
everybody
Buddha stuff.
in his blanket over his
Oh,
head.
you had a
Like,
blanket, huh?
no, that was awesome.
It was a little bit chilly. We
It was
outside.
very, it was very warming. yeah.
Interesting, right?
But maybe that's just because of the person. But I think that you must have seen something in me to even like try this, because how the hell do you even try this with
How
this?
do I not see? Look at you. Look in the camera. You will see. Camera will see. But let me ask you. So what about those two? You don't even want to talk about